Ladies and gents, hello and welcome to ROG Pulse, the weekly show where we talk about all things gaming and tech. I'm your host, Jake Kalinsky, and joining me, as usual, is the wondrous Whitson Gordon. Whitson,
wow,
how are you? I wanted to use alliteration, right?
Both, yeah, that adjective was both very strong and alliterative, so I can appreciate it.
Yes, nailed it. What's good? What's good? What have you been playing?
Dude, I finished like 6 games this week. I just started Hades, which I know you love, and I'm super.
Yes.
I wasn't sure how much I would love it, but I'm super into it already. It is amazing.
I cannot say good enough things about that game. Like, if anyone hasn't played Hades, it's on Game Pass. Play it. If you don't have Game Pass,
yeah,
get
it's
it.
on Game Pass. I think it's my first roguelike.
Ever? So
yeah,
you never
ever.
played like Slay the Spire or...
No.
Oh, that's another one I really got to recommend.
First one.
Slay the Spire is another one I really got to recommend. It's a very different game because it is at heart a card game. It's ultimately just a card game. It's a deck builder.
That was my understanding.
But it's a roguelike deck builder. And I played so much of Slay the Spire when that game first came out. And there's other ones like Monster Train that I never got as involved with myself. But yeah, no, very fun games.
Yeah, but I just started that, so we'll see how that goes. But I played, I finished Star Wars Squadrons. I played all of Spec Ops: The Line in like a single day.
Nice.
We talked about that last week a little bit. And then I played this game called The Forgotten City, which is this really cool game that I had not heard of, but I think it came out a couple years ago. It originally was a Skyrim mod, like a self-contained like game in a Skyrim mod, and then kind of they rebuilt the game in, I think, Unreal Engine. It's really interesting. It's kind of like a detective mystery adventure game, mostly conversation based. There's not a ton of combat. There's not a ton of like fast paced movement. It's a lot of like talking to people in this like underground ancient Roman city and trying to uncover like murder and intrigue and politics and ancient religion and stuff. It kind of almost reminded me of like old school point and click adventure games mixed with like, Portal or something. Like it was really cool, and it's on Game Pass too. I was gonna buy it until I realized it was on Game Pass. I was like, oh sweet. So if you have not heard of or played it, check it out. It's pretty good. It's pretty short. I mainlined that in a day too, and yeah, it was. I recommend it. I originally heard of it because No Clip did a documentary about it. It was made by this like guy who was a lawyer and wanted to make the Skyrim mod and left his career as a lawyer to
I love those stories
spring off into game development, and he did a good job.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's funny to our main topic for today is actually going to be mouse and keyboard versus controllers, and people in chat already even talking about Hades. Well, you talk about Hades, and Hades is a game that a lot of people prefer GamePad. Like, people swear that
Hades
GamePad tells
you at the beginning of the game that it recommends you play with the gamepad. And
I've played it on both, but I actually really like that game on mouse keyboard. Right?
Really?
And most people will tell you got to play with gamepad. And I'd say it's good on both, but for some reason I really liked that game on gamepad. And I maybe it's because I played so much, on mouse keyboard. Maybe it's because I played so much Diablo, and it ends up feeling similar to Diablo or something. But
do you have a cursor, or does the mouse just like choose your direction? Like, haven't tried it on mouse and keyboard yet. How does the mouse and keyboard work?
Yeah, it's where you're aiming essentially. So
you're basically just like clicking on enemies.
Yep.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I played it, but yeah, that sounds right.
Interesting.
Mouse is for aiming and shooting. Yeah. And I played, I mean, how far have you gotten? How many bosses have you killed?
I just beat Meg last night.
Okay,
so I just cleared the first boss.
Okay.
And then I lost to her the second time.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. You level up, you get stronger, you just keep going. But I'm
leveling up faster than I expected. Like they start really giving you a lot of stuff to level up pretty early on.
Yeah, and it makes it feel really rewarding. But also they make death feel like storytelling, which is incredible. Like it's the perfect game.
Also, death isn't like I was always afraid of playing games like this because I thought that it was going to be too frustrating. I thought it was going to be like Elden Ring, where death is kind of frustrating, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's not, because you die and you're like, okay, sweet, now I'm going to go level up some more.
And the town changes a little bit each time, so you're poking around town like, all right, what's changed? What's new over here?
Yeah.
They literally perfected the genre. They took the idea of this run where you're gonna die a lot of times, and they made it feel like that's just how it goes. You're in hell. The theme, I mean, all of it. It's a masterpiece. I really can't get over that game.
I played Bastion a couple of years ago, and it's so funny because like Bastion was a great game for what it was, but now that I'm playing Hades, I'm like, Bastion was warm up for this. Like this, like they feel very similar in terms of movement and combat and stuff, but it's funny to look back and be like, that was all moving toward their like swan song, right?
Yeah. Good game.
Anyway.
I never played it, but I've heard great things about Bastion.
It's good. I mean, it's like Hades, but a little bit more basic. It's just kind of a linear, like hack and slash, isometric, very similar art style.
Yeah, I do remember kind of like the art style. It has good music too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, good music.
Yeah.
It's a cool game. It's short. I played it on iPad.
Well, you've been playing a bunch of games. I've been playing Elden Ring, and it's my first ever time playing a Souls-like game. I did actually rage quit the stream like 20 minutes early on Tuesday. I was like, I can't do this right now. I was so frustrated, partially because I could not get controller to work, and that's actually one of the reasons why this prompted our discussion as to like when mouse keyboard is best and when gamepad is best, and some people prefer one over the other all the time, and I generally fall in the mouse keyboard all the time discussion, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Long story short, I now do
Elden
have
Ring is not one of those games,
I now do have the controller working. And
you did?
I do. I got it. I've figured it out yesterday. I had to like unplug my flight sticks and my foot pedals and restart my PC.
Flight sticks are always causing problems.
It seems like it. It seems like I had to like disable some software and then reboot, and that ultimately fixed it. So it took a lot of tinkering, but it's functional now. And I will say the controls are way better on gamepad for that game. But we'll talk a little bit more about that with our main topic. We can dive into just kind of tech and gaming news next, because we do have a little bit this week.
It's only a little bit.
Yeah.
This was one of the first things I saw. Back for Blood has their first expansion coming in April. Tunnels of Terror will add a new type of enemy, 2 new characters, and more, according to PC Gamer. So that's cool. I mean, I know this was like kind of a thing when Back for Blood first came out. It was like, okay, how much content is there going to be? Like, what happens when you beat kind of that main story?
Right.
But I had a lot of fun with that game. And now I'm like, okay, DLC. Like, I'm like, let's jump back in. Let's do some more co-op.
Did they confirm if that DLC is actually included in Game Pass? Like, or is it something that you have to purchase separately?
That's a good question. I don't think I read that far.
Yeah.
It's coming out April 12th. I don't, here, I can control F it. Game Pass. I'm going to assume no. Usually DLC doesn't come out on Game Pass, I don't think, which is actually, from a business perspective, kind of genius of Microsoft or game developers, right? Like, you get the first hit's always free. And then if you want to purchase DLC for the games that you really like, you can. Not a bad business model.
I agree, but it's a very interesting position with the game, because like this is going to fragment player bases. People that want the free to play can still have access to a lot. Personally, I think it's best to monetize purely through cosmetics for these kind of games rather than DLC. So I don't know. It's interesting. Like, I want to try it, but it's like I don't know if I'm going to spend the money, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah,
it sounds fun, and I would definitely play it, but I don't know if I'd pay for it. Whereas I would consider paying for skins for my main character, if that's like
I don't know if I would make that much of a sweeping generalization as far as my opinions go, but I will say that some games, I have played some DLC where I've been very upset that I had to pay extra for it. It should have been, especially if it's like really story driven, and it's like, this should have been part of the main story because you weren't giving me the whole story. Like that kind of stuff. That's grimy.
That's grimy. Yeah.
That bugs me. But
if it's like a side adventure and stuff like that, that's good.
I mean, and this is like nothing new, right? Like we've been paying for expansion packs to games for decades. Like Baldur's Gate had an expansion pack with a whole new adventure, right? Like that kind of stuff is normal. It's been in the PC gaming industry for ages. So I don't know. I guess I never really thought about it that much.
Before we continue, we got some questions about how the giveaways work. If you guys are new here, we do the giveaways with a game called Marbles on Stream. The way that you enter the giveaway is we basically launch the Marbles on Stream session, and then you have to be present in Twitch chat where you type !play, but that won't happen for another 12 and a half minutes. So if you're watching on YouTube and you want to partake in the giveaway, !play on Twitch, twitch.tv/AsusROG. That's where all the commands work as well. The commands do not work on YouTube. I feel like I need to have a message on screen saying commands only work in Twitch because I say that every week. Sucks, but that's where we are. Battlefield 2042 getting some map redesigns this week.
Yeah, I'll pop this link into the chat so people can read because we won't go super deep into it. But yeah, it sounds like the folks at EA are taking a lot of the feedback that people have given about Battlefield 2042 over the past few months and trying to find the best ways to incorporate that feedback into the game. And there are a few different key really big areas that they're focusing on. And so they had this really big blog post about the first area of focus, which is map design, and kind of talking about how they're looking at adjusting the maps to fit some of the feedback they've gotten, basically asking the community for feedback as they kind of turn this into a discussion about how they alter the game going forward, which is pretty interesting. So I don't know. I thought people who are Battlefield fans might be interested in checking that out.
I think, yeah, they're eager for any kind of news, and EA has work to do. I mean, if we're honest, we saw recently on Steam charts that the game has its active player base was lower than previous versions of Battlefield
4.
Yeah. So clearly the fan base is unhappy. Clearly there's room for an improvement. I'm not part of that regular fan base personally.
Yeah, me either. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed 2042, right? I thought it was a lot of fun when we played it. But the people that are really passionate about the game aren't happy for whatever reason. I'm sure it's completely justified. It's just they'd rather play.
It's a franchise you want. It's like when a band you listen to changes their sound.
Yeah.
You can either change your sound not enough or too much, and it's a fine line to walk sometimes to please new fans and old fans alike. So, no, I get it.
Very true.
I get it.
Very true. But I hope that the fans will be happy with the changes that are being made, and
I'm interested to see what it looks like. I'd like to go back and revisit it at some point because I did have fun playing that, but I'm not a regular Battlefield player.
So you wrote this in our little document for today. I don't even know what Amazon Luna is. What is Amazon Luna?
Amazon Luna is Amazon's game streaming service. It's their Stadia. It's their Game Pass Ultimate. It's their
never even heard of it.
GeForce Now. Yeah, I mean a lot of people haven't. But it's what's cool, and the reason that I even brought it up is because it looks like, much like Stadia did, they're going to have a free tier for Amazon Prime members, which is a lot of people. So if you're a Prime member, they'll have a selection of games that rotate or whatever that you can stream. And I feel like I remember hearing the service was actually pretty good. So I wanted to throw that out there. I'm really interested in following the game streaming.
You're big into it, yeah.
I'm not big into it. I don't do it that often.
But big into it. I mean, your opinion is that is the future of gaming.
I think it is the future of gaming. The long future, but the future.
That's an interesting take.
And so I'm interested to see the space evolve.
Yeah.
And it with another contender in the ring, offering something that is accessible to a lot of people because it's free. And if you're running an old PC and there are certain new games you can't play, you can't get your hands on hardware, streaming is an option, a good one.
I find it so interesting when we have these companies like Amazon that own huge parts of the gaming space, like Twitch, right? So they own Twitch. Initially, they had created a Twitch application. This was around the time that they bought Twitch, where there's a Twitch app where you could watch Twitch on your PC, but they also had a game store with all of that. And it really never took off, and they slowly decided to just kind of roll everything under the Amazon brand. They're like, look, Twitch is a streaming service where there's drops and rewards, but they did abandon the full-on desktop application approach, and they've continued forward with more of a browser side of things. But I just find the whole situation to be really interesting. It's not good or bad. It's just interesting that, you know, the way they're poking and prodding and trying to figure out their best way to have a piece of that pie.
Yeah, it is. And you know, it's funny because, like, on the one hand, I like having competition in the gaming space, but on the other hand, even a company as big as Amazon is going to be hard pressed to compete with someone like Microsoft, who has been in the gaming space for
of course,
decades. So yeah, it's I'm always interested to see.
Yeah,
but
competition's only a good thing, right?
Yep.
Better for the user.
You know, I'll tell you the one thing that I really like about Amazon Luna is that their controller uses asymmetrical thumbsticks.
Oh, neat.
Which, you know, you've automatically won me over if you use asymmetrical thumbsticks instead of the PlayStation layout like Stadia does. Because I can't do that. My thumbs are not shaped like that. New games coming to Game Pass soon. I was really personally excited about this because I had just put Guardians of the Galaxy on my wish list to play next after Hades, and they just announced that it's coming to Game Pass, and I was like, sweet, I was about to buy it.
There you
Perfect. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is coming to cloud and console and PC. Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming to cloud. Speaking of cloud gaming, speaking of a game that's really hard to run on PCs.
That's true.
If you want to get a piece of Microsoft Flight Simulator, but your PC can't quite handle it,
now you can stream it.
Now you can stream it, or soon you'll be able to stream it.
When did Guardians drop? Was it November? I'm trying to.
Man, I don't remember.
It's been
time has no meaning anymore.
It's been like 3 to 4 months, I feel like, since the game came out, and it's already on Game Pass. That's like incredible turnover. That's a really fast rate for a AAA game.
Okay, so I think a part of that, it launched in October.
Okay.
So look, I think Guardians, this is a perfect example of where I'm fairly confident I can guess why it showed up on Game Pass really quickly. Guardians is supposedly a very good game that didn't get the attention that it deserved when it came out.
Probably because the Avengers game had
The Avengers game, I think people were not as excited about it because they expected it to be like Avengers, and they'd heard bad things about that. And so I think a lot of people wrote off Guardians, didn't necessarily read the reviews and realize that it was really good. And so it didn't get quite the... And the other thing is that Square Enix was a little bit disappointed in sales. Now, granted, Square Enix is disappointed in sales of like everything. Even when something sells well, they're disappointed. They have very lofty goals for themselves, which, you know what, I can sort of respect.
That's a good way to do it, and they deserve to have that kind of ego.
So even if Guardians did sell pretty well, I just think they might have thought, well, this didn't sell as well as we expected. Maybe sales have died off enough already that now it's time to put it on Game Pass and maybe try to drum up some hype again, like we're doing right now, right? Like they'll see a new wave of players that are playing on Game Pass that might be tweeting about it or talking about it on stream that might lead to more sales for them. So I actually think it's probably a well-executed timing on their part, given all of the circumstances surrounding that game. I'm very excited to play it. I hear it's great. I hear the story's great. I hear the writing is awesome. I love Marvel. I love Guardians. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm debating whether to play it on the PC I have now or wait for all the ROG gear I have coming in with the 3080 so I can play it with like some ray tracing action.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. We'll see. Depends on how long it takes me to beat Hades.
I can't wait for you to get that gear because we're gonna have to set up Whitson's workbench.
I actually bought a table specifically for taking photos of laptops for articles and for building this PC.
Love it.
So
hey,
yeah,
money well spent.
Yeah.
Cool. The last bit of news that I have on my radar,
this is the weirdest piece of news of the week,
is what I don't think it's as weird as you might. So Epic Games has acquired Bandcamp, and a bunch of people in my Discord also agreed with you. They were like, this is really weird. Epic's buying everything. I don't like this. And I'm like, whoa. I recently have spent a lot of time browsing ArtStation, which people forget. ArtStation was also acquired by Epic Games a few years ago, probably like 2 or 3 years ago. And ArtStation has so many like verified game artists and people that work in the gaming space that do artwork for all kinds of games, ranging from Bungie to Resident Evil to I don't even know what, where you can browse their work, see some of the official stuff they've done, and then they do their own things. This piece of artwork behind me, that guy works for Bungie, right? I found him on ArtStation. And it's like this really great networking space for
so it's like Bandcamp for art.
So that's what Bandcamp is. Bandcamp is a place to get discovered for music. It's a place to distribute your music, maybe make some money, collaborate, whatever. But it's, I feel like Epic's going to be nothing but a positive impact on that space and for all the people that are trying to do stuff. So I think of like Anamanaguchi. Anamanaguchi is a like chiptunes synth rock, not synthcore, band from Brooklyn. And they did music for the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World video game. But now I look at this as like a platform where maybe they can maybe get other gigs for other indie companies or whatever, right? I just think it's going to be a more powerful platform for that whole ecosystem. So I think this is really cool, and I'm really hopeful for the potential that could lie here.
I love Bandcamp. I probably bought more music on Bandcamp than I have any other store in the past few years, because like all the bands I listen to are like kind of more independent death metal bands that like that's where they sell their music. I was like, I guess I didn't know about ArtStation. It just felt like a weird acquisition to me. I was like, what does Epic Games gain from Bandcamp?
Oh, well, that's a good question. I don't know if Epic.
It just felt like a weird marriage. I wasn't like I wasn't like jumping with an opinion. I was just like, that's weird. It's like when two people get married and you're like, I didn't really see them together, but okay, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, no, that's completely valid. It's really intriguing that Epic, as big as they are, to make these kind of acquisitions. I'm sure they have this greater vision that we don't know yet.
And you know what? Maybe they're buying it for some of the back end shopping tech or something, or because they want to inject their shopping tech into it and think that it'll make more money over the. I don't know. Maybe they're looking for some sort of music licensing deal for games. Who knows? I literally just made all three of those things up on the spot.
But when you start looking down that line, at least in my brain goes, maybe they're launching their own streaming service, and then they're going to have Bandcamp as.
Maybe they're trying to take over the world and be the next Amazon. Who knows?
If anybody has the power to contest Twitch, it's someone like Epic.
It's possible. What did you do, Jake?
Oh, I'm watching Marbles.
Oh, okay. We got some people talking about their Z13s coming in. Ooh. King corn poop. Okay, well.
You walked right into that one.
Z13 i9 3050 Ti coming tomorrow. That is exciting.
That's beautiful.
The carrying cases are not available yet. Sorry about that.
To partake in the giveaway, go to twitch.tv/AsusROG and type !play in chat to enter. $20 voucher going to gamesplanet.com. All of the commands only work on Twitch, guys. Sorry. Twitch is our first love.
Come over to Twitch. It's where all the cool people are.
I'm a Twitch partner. I'm biased.
Just kidding. I spend like all of my day on YouTube when I'm not streaming on Twitch. Like I only watch TV anymore. I just watch YouTube.
I watch a lot of YouTube, but
I watch a lot.
I haven't created content on my personal YouTube in like 6 years. I am a Twitch boy through and through.
Back when I first bought my first really nice TV, my wife was like, "What are you spending all this money on a TV for? You're just gonna spend 90% of your time watching like Linus Tech Tips on it." Which she's only sort of right.
Yeah, we don't really watch YouTube on our home theater. We'll watch it like if we're in bed and we're in the middle of the night, kind of just like looking for something to entertain ourselves.
I do watch most of it on my phone in bed, but I watch a lot of, especially if I'm watching like documentaries on NoClip or like some of the longer form stuff on YouTube. I'll watch that on my TV in place of like a movie or a TV show.
I can dig it. All right.
My name is King Corn Poop says my name is corny and poopy, but I really am getting a Z13.
Well, hopefully it's neither of those two things. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and start the giveaway. Good luck. Have fun. Oop, that was unexpected. I unmuted the main PC line, and we got music with the Marvel sound effects. So I just decided to kill the music. I must have Spotify playing, and I had it muted before.
Oops.
2 seconds of audio won't kill the world.
Rolt says, Whitson, the GOG documentary you recommended on NoClip was so good. Isn't it so good? I literally watched it again the other day because after we talked about it on stream, I was like, I gotta watch this again. Guys, I'm going to say this again. If you have not watched the documentary from NoClip on YouTube about GOG, Good Old Games, it is a fascinating look into how they do what they do, how they get these games, old games running on newer systems, how they deal with the licensing problems of these old games where like no one knows who owns the projects anymore. It's awesome. Super awesome.
I gotta get on that. There's a lot of content I gotta watch there apparently. All right, Slayer 13. Oh, no, Chlorian in the lead.
There's a lot of content you got to watch there because all of NoClip's documentaries are awesome. It might be my favorite gaming YouTube channel.
Wow.
It might be my favorite YouTube channel.
I got a lot of documentaries I have to watch. There's a bunch of esports docs I'm behind on. Oh, that's the end. Okay. It usually says finish, but that one was a little misleading. Chlorian, first place. Type in Twitch chat to confirm your win. Claim your win, and congratulations.
Well played.
Look at them go. Look at them all go. It's a cool course. Is
Yeah,
is that a heart in the tunnel?
Yes, it is. A beating heart.
It's kind of weird looking, actually. The colors just don't... They're just kind of cold and icy.
Yeah. It's a little like... I feel like it's a little like horror-y.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, congrats, Chlorian. Okay. Well, we'll transition to our primary topic of the day.
So
which is...
when I brought up this topic in our weekly meeting yesterday, not the one that you're in, a different weekly meeting, I brought up that we were going to do this topic. Oh, to redeem the elite code here. People are asking. Type elite exclamation point.
Oh,
elite.
it's we're still waiting for a new one, unfortunately.
Oh,
it expired. I've reached out. I've requested. Yeah, I've requested a new code.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we don't have a new code yet. Sorry, I should have taken the
maybe come back on Friday.
Yeah.
So when I brought... Sorry, go ahead.
If we can get it fixed by tomorrow, you'll be able to get 30 points tomorrow. I'll tell you that. If we can get it fixed by tomorrow. If we can't, sorry. But we reached out to the powers that be.
Yep. So when I brought up this topic, mouse and keyboard versus gamepad, everyone in the meeting just said, What? Well, how is that a debate? It's just mouse and keyboard. And I had to admit that these days I play most of my games with a gamepad.
Yeah, there's definitely a case with a variety of games. In fact, this week alone, the two games that I've been playing the most are gamepad games. I've been playing Elden Ring, and I've been playing Warner Brothers' new Smash Brothers game. It's a platform fighter. It's called Multiverses.
Oh, yeah.
They have an alpha. I can't say anything else about it. That's all I can say. I've been playing it a lot. It's very fun. It is absolutely not a game I'd want to play with mouse and keyboard. It doesn't work with mouse and keyboard. Yeah, sure. But not.
And you know what?
Not for me.
It's not that a lot of games are terrible with mouse and keyboard. It's just that I think a gamepad is more comfortable, a little bit easier, and I get to do it on the couch, which is super nice. Because I play most of my games. I have this really powerful gaming PC right here next to me, and I have a less powerful gaming PC behind me, and I play most of my games on that one. Because the last thing I want to do after work is sit at my desk for 3 more hours. You know?
Yeah. I get
Here's the thing. I would say that almost any game except a first-person shooter, I'd probably rather play with a gamepad, which I know is like heresy to some.
Well,
but
you clearly don't play RTS. You clearly don't play MOBA.
I don't.
You clearly don't play any isometric top-down games like Diablo. All of those games, Diablo translates pretty well to controller. Actually, they released it on. I
don't play RTSs or MOBAs or strategy games that as a kid I did actually a lot. I don't anymore. So
because you would not say that you'd play those on.
You're right.
Gamepad.
I wouldn't say that. So I don't think that is. I mean, this is an opinion. It's not. I wouldn't say that all games are better with gamepad except FPS. Just that all games that I would play except FPS, I play with the gamepad. But if I had to give up one, if I could only have one forever, I would pick mouse and keyboard every time. because I couldn't give up first-person shooters, and I am so bad at first-person shooters with a gamepad that it would just like completely remove one of my favorite genres.
But it's interesting because like I find that, you know, FPS translates way better to controller than some of these other genres.
You are correct.
But I'm still with you. I think mouse keyboard.
But I don't play those other genres, and I'm really bad at FPS with a controller.
I actually, when Halo Infinite came out, I was like, man, this takes me back to playing Halo with I have 3 brothers, so we played a lot of Halo and Halo 2, you know, locally, just with the 4 of us. And, you know, we played that on an Xbox controller. And I remember like setting up my Xbox controller and playing it on PC for like maybe 5 minutes. I was like, this is awful. I can't do this. Like I want to, it sounds really fun. And mentally it makes sense. Like the reflexes are there, but just aiming is like, I can't do it.
Roltz says also racing and flying games. No, racing and flying games, I'd rather play with a gamepad, unless I'm misunderstanding what you're saying.
I think
King
that might be
Corn
what
Poop
he's
is trolling me and says gamepad with point-and-click adventures. Haha, joke's on you. I mean, hey, look, what's really funny is that a lot of these games, Maniac Mansion was on the NES. I don't know how you played that with a gamepad. Sim City was on the SNES.
StarCraft was on the N64. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know how anyone played those games with a gamepad, but apparently it's possible.
Oh god, like the N64 controller is bad enough, and then you're trying to play StarCraft with that. Oh,
yeah, I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe it's just the types of games. Yeah, you guys are making me realize that it's not so much that a majority of games are better with gamepad. It's just that I am mostly playing flying, racing, and third-person adventure games where you're swinging a sword.
Yeah.
And then I play first-person shooters at my desktop with a keyboard.
But those are the games that do translate well to gamepad. And there are other pros to gamepad as well. Haptic feedback on the PS5 controller is incredible. It is a really cool, immersive thing. It is. And just Rumble as a whole. Rumble with, you know, a single-player adventure game is like fun. Something that you do not get on PC. You play when I was playing God of War with mouse and keyboard, I was like, I feel like I'm kind of missing an element, and it's actually like it's simple of a thing as it is, but the Rumble does add something neat that we, you know, that we might take for, you know, granted nowadays.
That's very true, and yeah, the thing that does kill me about the gamepad is that you can't you lose a lot of control in how fast you can like flip around, right? Like move.
Of course.
It's like you can't do a 180 really quickly or anything like that. That said, conversely, you can't walk slowly with a keyboard.
We don't need a Rumble keyboard. No, we don't need that.
We really don't need
we really don't need that. Don't think we're coming out with a Rumble mouse or keyboard.
You can get a sub pack. Have you seen those subwoofer vests you can wear?
There's base plates for chairs too. So if you can get the Rumble in your chair, that's even cooler, right? That's something I actually want, is a base plate in my chair.
But you know, the one thing you can't do with the keyboard is you can't walk. You can't like press the stick lightly to walk slowly. Like, how are you going to play like Mario 64 with a keyboard when you have to like walk across the balance beams?
Yeah.
I think there are a couple optical keyboards out there who could do that, but I wouldn't. I'd rather have a normal, good keyboard. So, speaking of gamepads, I did have to bring this because we talked about this, I think, on a recent stream. But I finally got my custom Xbox Design Labs controller came in. And it is awesome, you guys.
What I don't get is that is basically just the same price as an Xbox controller, right?
No. Well,
it's more?
No, it's more.
It's more?
Now, that said, I mean, because a normal Xbox controller is like $50. I think this one spec'd out was $90, but this has a few more of the premium flourishes. So this is really cool. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but you can go Google Xbox Design Lab. You can basically create your own custom controller with a bunch of different colors. The colors is really the cool part, but lately they've added a few premium touches you can add that you can't get on a lot of other normal Xbox controllers. So this D-pad is metal. It's not plastic. It's metal, really cool. Which is kind of cool. And the triggers are metal, which are pretty cool. They feel really, really nice. The other thing is that you can they have this on a couple of their special edition controllers. Like I think they have it on the Forza controller and probably the Elite, but you can get these side and back rubber grips, which are really nice if you don't like the way that a typical controller feels like once your hand gets all sweaty and it kind of slips around. Like this is very, very nice. At first, it felt a little weird like the first day I used it. And so I was a little bit on the fence about it, but since then I'm like, yeah, no, I love this. It's so much grippier. If you are on the fence, you could always just go for the side grips because you can always replace that with a normal plastic if you want to. You can't. The back, you would have to replace the whole back shell. But yeah, it's really cool. If you are the kind of person that likes playing with colors and like designing your own custom stuff, playing with RGB and things like that, this is like the controller version of that. Highly recommended. I don't know how much it would cost without all of the premium stuff, but I'll look it up.
I'm thinking about buying one, but I've been ping-ponging back and forth between the Xbox controller, which I've got a default one, and the Pro controller.
You mean the Elite controller?
The Switch Pro.
The Switch Pro controller.
Which was an expensive controller. It was like $80.
Yeah.
Which I will say, everything about when you hold them, the Switch Pro controller does feel like cheaper and flimsier and lighter, but there's something about it I like. I don't know if it's because I like prefer the GameCube controller over all other controllers. I don't know. That's the other part of this debate is like controller of choice. You know, picking your mouse and keyboard is obviously, everyone has different preferences for mice and keyboard. And then everyone has different preference. You were talking about you don't like the PS5 controller because the positioning of the thumb, you know, how it's...
There are a lot of things I don't like about it, but
right.
yeah.
Well, sure. But you know, I'm a former competitive Smash Brothers player, so the GameCube controller is like my bread and butter.
The pinnacle of gaming controller technology.
It is. I just really like it, and it's an odd controller. The way it's designed, you've got the large A button, the smaller B button
Super
on the
weird.
left, and then you've got these weird surrounding curved X and Y buttons to the side. But to me, your finger always rests on the A button, your thumb, and then it can roll to any of the other buttons really seamlessly, where you can be right.
Okay.
So that's why, you know, from someone who competed for a long time, it's just like second nature, and I really like that design. But that controller is a bit dated. It only has one shoulder button and then two triggers.
Oh yeah, and then two triggers.
Right.
Yeah, that's weird.
And you know, Panda Global's an esports team. I think I've mentioned this on the show before.
Yep.
They had a Kickstarter to basically bring that controller to modern day, where it would have all the modern buttons you expect to see. And it was too successful that they had to cancel their Kickstarter and then reassess it because they're like, there's no way we can fulfill this demand. It's just, so it's cool. It's cool that I'm not alone. It's cool that there was that much hype and anticipation.
Dude, I mean, I have always wondered why people liked the GameCube controller so much, and you finally just explained it to me. Like that button layout makes total sense.
It's brilliant. That
is brilliant.
It's totally different, but it really is a phenomenal design, I think.
So one cool other thing. So first of all, Xbox Design Lab, they start at $70. So it's $20 more expensive than a standard controller, even if you just like get a black one, which would be weird. Why would you do that? You could get a black one with like an engraving, like with your name on it or something, but
or slightly different materials too. You have that choice, right?
Well, so it starts at $70. Then when you start adding the rubberized grips and the metal sticks or triggers, that's when the price starts going up from there. So mine was basically fully loaded, and it was $90. So it's anywhere between $70 and $90. Now, up from that, you can look at like the Elite controller, the Xbox Elite controller, or similar other third-party like Pro controllers. And those are really customizable too in more functional ways that I don't think I personally care about. But you know, you've got the different like heights for the thumbsticks, and you can customize the length of the triggers. Like you can have triggers that don't pull back as hard. So it's just like
that's really cool.
That is really cool. And the other cool thing that I really like, unfortunately, I wish you could get that with these, was paddles on the back. And so this solves a little bit of what you were talking about with the GameCube controllers. The nice thing about paddles is that you don't have to cover all of these buttons with just a few fingers.
Right.
You can have these fingers that aren't doing anything can actually have some use. And I don't care about it as much on the Xbox controller is well designed enough that I don't mind it as much. But on like PlayStation, my fingers couldn't reach the shoulder buttons very well.
Yeah, I don't.
And so paddles made like a huge difference.
I think I would prefer paddles over shoulder, right? Triggers and then paddles for my middle finger, right, or something like that.
Super nice to have
right,
that.
Because,
and once you do it, it's kind of hard to go back.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see that to be the norm in the future, or at least an option to be the norm.
I'm honestly surprised it's not already. I kind of wish it was.
Yeah.
They make like, there are kits you can get on Amazon, and like so I did a kit for my PS5 controller, no soldering. The Xbox One does require soldering, although you can get like on eBay like cheap, probably crappy paddles that just hook into that battery pack there. I haven't found the need for it in the Xbox controller as much, but or you can just get the Elite controller, which is probably going to be much better than either of those options. But you can't get. I want them to do an Xbox Design Lab for the Elite controller, so you can get an Elite controller with all the cool colors.
I'm really just waiting for the Panda controller. Like, I thought I was going to be getting it December this year, and then they canceled that Kickstarter. But like, we're talking about
Kickstarter.
We're talking about, well, they canceled it because the demand. I mean,
I know.
Shoulder button.
It's the opposite of what usually happens on Kickstarter, like where people just bail with your money. It's like, oh no, we literally can't make this because there's too much interest.
Yeah,
we gotta scale up.
It just makes me remember. There's an author that Brandon Sanderson, if you guys know who he is.
Yes, I do.
I'm a massive fan of everything he does, and he released this YouTube video earlier this week, which was really funny, where he's like, "I'm sorry, I've been lying to you. I'm sorry, I've been lying to you. I've been a bad person." And he basically comes out and he's like, "I've been writing a book," and then he goes off. Have you watched this?
I haven't watched it. No. I saw that he had announced.
I almost don't want to spoil the video then, but too late. I'm going for it. I'm sorry, but I wrote a book. And then he goes off and he starts talking about how, like, traveling to conventions, because a lot of authors travel to conventions to meet with fans and do book signings and stuff like that. He was traveling like 33% of the year. And he's like,
I believe that.
He's like, with COVID, I haven't had this traveling, and with my free time, I've been naughty, and I wrote this book. And he's like, actually, I wrote 2 books. And then it turns out he wrote 5 books. Right.
I thought it was 4.
Or maybe it's 4. I think it's 4 books, and then I think there's another one that they're not releasing yet, that he's like, he's not, he said he thinks it's going to be a graphic novel.
I mean,
so
this
he did
is
write,
just so Brandon Sanderson, right?
I know.
Like,
he's a monster. So he launched a Kickstarter.
He did what Taylor Swift did during the pandemic. Like, what? I'm home? I'll just write 4 albums. Like, Brandon Sanderson's just like, hey guys, I created a new Brandon Sanderson universe of books. Like, that's what he does.
And
right?
most of them are in the Cosmere, which is what Cosmere is like his universe, where there's all these different worlds that have different kinds of magic, and they're all connected. But not all of them are in the Cosmere. One of them is completely separate. But anyways, he is on course to be the largest Kickstarter of all time. This Kickstarter has been active for less than 2 days. He's at 19.25, so $19.25 million raised, and he was the fastest Kickstarter to ever reach $10 million funded.
Holy crap.
I think it's already the number 2 largest Kickstarter, and it's going to be number 1. I gave $260 because I want audiobook, physical book, and ebook. That's basically all of that. But he's doing like you can spend up to like $600 where you get like monthly shipments of like swag from his iconic series like Mistborn and Stormlight and
Mistborn. The first Mistborn book might be my favorite book.
It's so good. It's such a good book.
I haven't actually read that many of his other books, but I really should go back to the well of Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah, if you guys have never read Brandon Sanderson, check it out. I've read like all of his side books. This was a random side tangent for today, but we got talking about Kickstarter.
Guys, if you're not convinced, so the reason I read Mistborn was because I was on Goodreads, and the first review of it explained the book thusly. I'm pretty sure I've said this on stream before, but I'm gonna say it again. Mistborn is like the Italian Job, but set in Mordor after Sauron has ruled for 1,000 years. And that is exactly what it is like. That is exactly the book. It is just like a bunch of people pulling a heist on Sauron after he's been in power for way too long. Like, it's incredible. It's so fun. Easily my favorite fantasy.
It's such a crazy world. Yeah. And
it's so good.
Did you read, I'm sure I asked you this. Did you read Wax and Wayne or no?
No, I did not. I've only read the Mistborn trilogy. And I didn't love the second and third books as much. They really like expanded the story, but they weren't as fun as the first book in the same way. Like, the reason I liked the first book, the world building was really cool, and that's what the second and third books expand upon. But they were like war stories more than like fun heist stories.
To answer,
and then I read Elantris.
Elantris is good. I recently read that.
Those are the only books of his I've read.
Saru, we are not making gamepads. We're just making a case for gamepads and when you would want to use one. We're just kind of jamming about video games in general. But no, ROG does not have any official gamepad for PC. We have devices that can. We
don't
be
have
used.
anything.
Well, we have
yet.
the kunai.
Everything
we have
is
the
possible.
Kunai. Yeah.
That's true. We have the kunai, which I'm still waiting for them to send it to me. Jake and I are waiting on some kunais. We're hoping to do some mobile streams soon.
I read a Sanderson book called like The White Sands. That was really interesting. Sand magic. They were sand mages, literally. It was a cool book. Short, just like one-off book. And the Mistborn sequel, Wax and Wane. It's like a few hundred years later.
Is that the sequel or like the spin-off? There were two.
It's a spin-off. Yeah. It's a new trilogy that takes place like in the same world, like later, like hundreds.
Right, but wasn't there supposed to be one like sequel trilogy to Mistborn, or like a spin-off trilogy, but then he actually was like, oh, I accidentally wrote two trilogies that take two separate
and I
time
think
periods.
and I don't know if I've read anything else yet, but the Wax and Wane is like, I think is better than Mistborn.
Wow.
I really like those stories, and knowing that world and knowing the history of that world really builds on it too, I think. But it's a totally different story, right? It's a little bit more steampunky, but it's really
okay.
good.
Yeah. So there's the Wax and Wane series. Oh, okay. No, you're right. I was confused.
Wax and Wane was supposed to be a one-off thing, but he made it into a trilogy, and they're writing more.
Coming.
He's writing more.
There's Mistborn's Secret History.
Yeah,
that's just a companion story. And then they're writing some more. I guess I must have been confused. There must be another one.
It's very good. It's very good. And then Stormlight is his baby. That's like his biggest project.
Is Stormlight Archive the one that's taking like forever to write because he writes one book in between all the other books he writes?
Right. There's already 4 books and they're massive. So there's already 4 of them to read, and they're very long-winded, and they take a long time to build up. But once you get in, and once you get your hands dirty, your feet wet, whatever, you're stuck. It's so.
I'm just such a slow reader. It's so hard for me.
Anyways, this is our book club podcast apparently now, where we just praise Brandon Sanderson. I mean, hey, he deserves it, and I'm $20 million almost on his Kickstarter. Crazy.
And the way you phrased that made it sound like you had paid $20 million into the Kickstarter.
I wish I could. I wish I was in a position where I had that kind of money.
Just where you could just pay $20 million to have Brandon Sanderson write books for you for the rest of your life.
Right. Not even to get a signed copy for that price. I wish. Yeah. Really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. Exciting times for nerds like me that love their. I'm sure I've told you this. You should try audiobooks while doing chores. That's what I should.
Do. I really should. I got into audiobooks like a little bit back in the day when I had an internship that required me to commute. But then my first job out of college was working from home, and I've never had to commute ever again.
Mowing the lawn, so any kind of menial task like washing dishes, I'll put an audiobook on.
I've got podcasts for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I never tried audiobooks for that, but maybe
you can actually get free audiobooks with a library membership. So there's apps.
I do know that.
Okay. If you didn't know, check it out. Apps like Hoopla. I use Hoopla all the time.
Yep. Get free ebooks too, guys. If you have a local library and you're paying for books, what are you doing with your life?
I pay for books if I like them enough, but I tend to start series through my library.
Do you know anything about a library? Sometimes certain libraries use different services, and so the thing that like is a deal killer for me is if the library offers a service where I can get the book on my phone, but I can't get the ebook on a Kindle. I'm out. It's got to be on a Kindle. I'm not reading on my phone. Like the whole point, I want to read it on that e-ink screen. So some libraries will do Kindles and some don't.
Kindles are great. Yeah, and they last forever. My wife's Kindle is like
15
years old, and it's great.
The only reason I even have a Kindle is because my old Barnes & Noble Nook, which I bought because I wanted to hack it to run Android apps, which was awesome. Because I didn't really read a lot of books, but we'd go to the beach and stuff. You can't read on your phone. So I wanted something I could read in the sunlight. But I would read The Economist or The Week magazine or things like that. Or I would read my Pocket articles that I'd saved to Pocket.
Yep.
You familiar with that app?
Yep.
And so the Nook ran Android, so you could root it, and Android was super janky on it. It is not meant to be used on an e-ink screen, but you can root it, install a launcher, and then install any apps you want. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Did that for years. Got stolen from me while I was in France, unfortunately, and that's why I had to buy a Kindle.
No.
We went to France, and all of our luggage was stolen. Our first day in France, or second day.
That is awful. Sorry to hear that.
It was awful, but that's what home insurance paid for it, so it worked out.
Wow.
You know, my wife got a bunch of like jewelry and clothes that she couldn't like rebuy, right? So it was like really bummer for her. For me, it was like, well, my iPad and my computer and my Kindle are gone, but now I just get to buy new versions of all of those things. So it worked out for me.
Well, we did a good job. We rambled for nearly an hour. We talked a lot about audiobooks, which was not on the schedule, but that's okay.
Doesn't matter.
I think it's you know, at the end of the day, is there a superior device, mouse and keyboard over controller?
Not.
No. It's all and honestly, it varies from game to game. But the one thing I think that we can say that is just a fact is FPS is better than mouse and keyboard.
Yes, I think we can agree with that. You know, the other thing that is a fact that I hope we can all agree on, if you make a controller and you use this same button layout, but you use different letters in different places, you're the devil.
Yeah.
Like press B. Oh, B isn't in the place I'm used to anymore. Flip the table.
Yeah, that's literally what this is.
Is Nintendo's okay?
Yeah,
but here's
A is on the right, B's on the bottom.
Is Nintendo's button layout the same as it was in the SNES era, though?
It's the same. It's the same order. Where I don't know.
Yeah, A is on the right.
Yeah,
B is on the bottom.
I guess so.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I can respect that.
So
and
maybe Xbox is the evil one.
Fault. Yeah. I mean, but now that's like the standard. So it's like, okay, Nintendo, I guess you get a little bit of a pass. But like sometimes I'll see controllers that are like, what? What did you even? I think there was even a Neo Geo, you know, like all those mini consoles, the mini retro consoles. There was a Neo Geo one that literally like replicated the controller of the old Neo Geo home console and flipped the button layout from the original. And it was like, what are you doing? Why would you do that?
Why? Yeah, that's bizarre and frustrating. At least like PlayStation is shapes. Like theirs is timeless, right?
PlayStation, no, it bugs me because first of all, too many syllables to say triangle or circle when you could just say ABXY. Second of all, having not been a PlayStation user growing up, when I first tried to play Spider-Man on PS4, it was like my first PlayStation game like ever.
Wow.
You know, you'd have those quick time events where we'd be like, press circle, and I'd be like, which one's circle?
Well, that's on you because you didn't play the platform. Like I grew up, I played so much PlayStation and PlayStation 2 as a kid. PS3 not so much. It's kind of when I fell into PC gaming and like abandoned consoles as a whole, right? And I had a nice 10 years plus where I pretty much didn't console game at all. It was glorious, but now
my fault.
Now
controllers. I stand by the syllables thing. If you're playing with someone and you're like, oh, press triangle. No, it's much faster to say press Y.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, but if you're bad and you need to be told what to press, then that's your fault.
That's true. There's also something to be said for back in the Xbox 360 days when the controllers had colored buttons, and you were like, if you were playing with a noob and you could be like, press Y, they'd be like, which one is that? No, the yellow one. Okay. There you go. You know, really, you don't get as much of that anymore.
Well, I mean, they can be colored. They're colored on mine.
I guess on Xbox so the buttons aren't colored, just the letters, but it still stands out much more than PlayStation 2.
And you can still clearly see the colors, right?
I got rid of the colors on mine.
Yeah, which I probably would too.
Because I'm not some sort of noob.
I want to show this skin off, but I don't know if we can.
I don't think we
don't have permission.
I don't know if it's official yet.
I don't know.
One day soon.
Someday.
It's one of the rare cases where you and I actually know.
We have something that's like we can like, you know. Oh, it's giveaway time.
Oh, it is giveaway time. Man, did we open up a console versus PC debate in the chat?
I don't think so.
I think we all know where we land on the console PC debate.
I mean,
I literally sold both my consoles and just put a PC there. So
when we launch the Republic of Potatoes, then sweet. But
I will say though, I still love Quick Resume on the Xbox.
Yeah.
I want Microsoft to bring that to Windows. That is the only thing that sometimes makes me go like, I miss the Xbox. Can't play Spider-Man on PC. That's true. Well, you can.
Not yet.
You can play the Spider-Man 2000 game. Yeah, that's classic. Or Ultimate Spider-Man. That was a fun one. Ultimate Spider-Man. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
!play in Twitch chat to join the giveaway for a chance to win a $20 voucher to gamesplanet.com. Tomorrow we are doing a special giveaway where we are giving away 3 Elden Ring hoodies. They're like ROG X Elden Ring hoodies. If you're a big Elden Ring fan.
Wait, did they say ROG on them?
I believe it has the ROG
I thought they were like just Elden Ring hoodies. I didn't realize it was like a collaboration between us and them.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that there's a ROG logo.
Don't oversell, Jake. False advertising.
I'm sorry. We have Elden Ring hoodies. That's what we can say. We're giving away 3 of them. International shipping is going to be available for these, so anybody in the world can win. You just got to tune into the Twitch stream and watch me fail miserably. I'm going to go full pacifist, and I'm just going to sightsee. I'm just going to avoid bosses like the plague. I'm just going to go gather some herbs. I'm going to play the crafting game. The game is visually so good, but I'm just really bad at it. And maybe I'll find my patience tomorrow, but anyways, don't come expecting great Elden Ring gameplay. I'm just putting that out there. I'm gonna be bad.
Just great Elden Ring hoodies.
Yeah, great hoodies to be given away, and great. We'll be good company regardless, and it's gonna be fun. But yeah, if I'm wrong, you all get one. No, it doesn't work that way.
I don't think we have.
We don't have that many.
Guys.
Is it a one size hoodie? Not necessarily, but we may not have all sizes available. We do have a very limited.
I think we have 3 different sizes, but we don't have like unlimited hoodies of each size. So you're not necessarily guaranteed to get the size you want, but we're going to try to do what we can for you.
Yeah. Well, so, but we got 3 to give away, and.
But you know what? That's the beauty of hoodies is you can wear a hoodie that is much too big for you. And my acronym hoodie, they sent me the wrong size. It's very large, but it's still a comfy, cozy hoodie for wintertime.
Car cover size hoodie. I don't know if we have any of those, but I don't know what we have, in terms of the total inventory. That's we just know our headquarters has something to give out.
A car cover sized hoodie. They say once they run out of room for X's, they just put like a little Honda logo there. Is that the idea?
All right, we're going to start the giveaway. This is for a $20 voucher, not for a hoodie. Hoodies are tomorrow starting at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific for 3 hours on the hour. Yeah, marbles.
You can make any hoodie fit if you really tried hard enough. Hey, once I got a t-shirt at a concert that was much too big because they didn't have my size. And so I actually cut out it was like my first heavy metal concert. I cut out the like big like design on the shirt and I sewed it to the back of a track jacket.
Whatever
I just
works.
have an In Flames jacket. It's pretty cool.
Oh, look at this pay to win skin rolling down.
Oh,
He's
clearly
got the speed boost
paying to
helmet.
win. Rigged. Damn straight, not Mitch Sheldon. In Flames was like my first death metal band. It was my gateway drug.
I know nothing about death metal except baby metal. I love baby metal.
Baby metal is awesome. God of Deathwish says, I usually cut off the sleeves of the hoodies to wear in my country. Yeah, if it's hot, that is a solution.
Oh, the finish line is right there, but
Someone
we're all
already won.
piled up. Who's going to win? Oh,
No, someone already won, Jake.
oh, Deathwish, how? You cheat.
What the heck?
Deathwish, oh, there's like a different path, I guess. I don't know. Hacks.
Deathwish, what the heck?
I thought I was watching the leader of the pack.
That was crazy.
That was a weird map. I like it.
Rold says, let's see the replay. None of us got to see what happened because we were following the crowd and Deathwish was just like gone.
Is there a way to watch a replay?
I don't know.
Is that a thing? I'm like,
Yeah. Oh,
I don't.
Guys, tell us where the button is if that exists.
Don't think so. There's no.
You have
replay
5
button.
seconds to comply.
I mean, look, the list is all knowing. Deathwish wins.
Deathwish wins.
I don't even see my name. It's right there.
Yeah, he didn't see his name in the marbles because he wasn't in the crowd. He was already gone.
He was
like, wait, I don't see my name. Did I join? But like, nope, he was already at the finish line.
Huh? Play button? I don't know.
I gotta expand this. I don't see it. I think the play button would just be play the game. Okay, you're just making this up. This doesn't exist.
I really like show race results.
Only way to see would be in the VOD, but I don't know if I don't know if it was visible in the VOD. Jake might have zoomed in on too many people.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out when this stream is over. Let's end the stream so everyone can go watch the VOD.
Oh, now we're gone. I clicked race menu. It took us out. Wrist
Jake.
in pieces. It's okay. It's okay.
It is okay.
Chlorian and Deathwish. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, we're an hour into the show. But guys, yeah, just again, tune in to the stream tomorrow for a chance to win an Elden Ring hoodie. Next Tuesday, I'll be playing a game called The Legend of Tianding, and we've got some Steam keys to give out for that, courtesy of the developers. This game is one that I feel like is pretty unknown, but the reviews on Steam are like overwhelmingly positive. It looks visually stunning, so it's going to be a lot of fun. What time tomorrow? Age of Venom, you know what time. We start at the same time every day, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday every week. And, yeah, so we got game keys next Tuesday. I think we're giving away, or possibly giving away, DLC next Friday. We'll see. I gotta confirm for a different game. We're trying to make it rain. Oh, a game that I've played multiple.
We start at 1. Shut up, Asian Venom. Sometimes we start at 12:05. Give me a break.
You're right. We do start early sometimes, or late. But yeah, till next time, Whitson. GG's.
GG's.
Take care, everyone.